everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. Today we're going to be making this card. You're probably saying, well, that just looks like a folded up piece of paper. Well, this is the way it folds to mail, but when you open it, it looks like this, and then when you fold it, it looks like this, and then when you lift this piece up and set it like that, it looks like this. Isn't that pretty? It looks very complicated, but I promise you this is as simple as it gets. And I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to make this beautiful card. Now, we're going to probably do something a little bit different with the next one we're making, but I thought this was spectacular the way it is. And it's simple. You know, you've got this space here. You can decorate. You can mat these. There's just so many things you could do. And I didn't stamp on this when I made this one, but you could definitely put a sentiment there, but you would need to do it prior to putting this down, unless you wanted to open it like this and be able to stamp. But I love the way it goes together. You need a magnet for this closure to keep this over. And I have my magnet hid away underneath my mats. And it works really well. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to need for the base of your card is a piece of cardstock that is 8 by 8. So just a square piece of cardstock. This one I'm using boho blue. And we are going to bring up our scoring board or the simply scored scoring tool. And we're going to slide this all the way up into our top left-hand corner. And because this is an 8 by 8, the scoring could not be any simpler. We're going to score at 4. You're going to turn it a quarter of a turn. It doesn't matter in which direction. Turn it so that that first score line is parallel, and score it again at 4. How simple was that? Now, the next thing we're going to do is bring your trimmer over. You can do this with scissors, but I found if you want to get a nice straight cut, your your trimmer is the way to go. So we're going to put this in at 4. Line it up. Bring your cut blade down to 4. Sink it in and cut straight up. That is going to give you that cut that you need. Now, you may want to go back and trim that out a little bit. Let's go ahead and do our folding, and then we'll see if we think that needs to be trimmed out. So I'm going to fold and varnish. Fold and varnish. And you want to fold these in both directions. So if you fold that way, then fold it back the other way and this way. And now we're going to turn it and fold this way. And when you're folding, try to make sure that your edges line up. That will keep everything squared. And then fold this way. Now, this is not a new card. I've done this card a while back, but it has been a good while back. And so now that you've got your 4 pieces, this is actually going to fold like this. So you want to fold it so you can kind of get an idea of where you're going to score, because we need to score from the top of this line down to the bottom of this line, and vice versa over here, from the top to the bottom left, from the top to the bottom right. So that's so simple to do. You can actually do that in your trimmer, or you can do it on your scoreboard, whichever you feel more comfortable with. But what you're going to do is you're going to line up that point right there and hold it, and then pivot the other side down to meet up right there. And make sure you've got that nice and straight. Hold it tight. Move that cut blade completely out of your way. Get your score blade and score it. Now that's going to be your first score. Then you're going to turn it, because this one is going to go in the opposite direction. So it is going to go from the top to the bottom right. This one went from the top to the bottom left. This one's going to go to the right. And let's line that up, pivot that in, and give it a good score. Now we have our score lines established. I think I did that wrong. I think I did that wrong. I did. I did it wrong. It should have been this one. Okay. You know what? No worries. We can do, no, we can't. Yes, we can. We're going to do this one. We got to go in this direction. Okay. Boo-boos happen. So don't do what I did, but we can fix this. Line that up just like that. And we're going to score. I wasn't paying attention to where my slit was. So wherever your slit is, you want to make sure you're doing the top, those two top pieces. So we're going to line that up in there, hold it, pivot it around till this one is lined up. And then we're going to take that score blade and we're going to score. Okay, now we got it. And all we're going to do now, we'll hide this one underneath. Nobody will know, nobody will see it. And we have our pieces. So pull these back like so. And now when we do this, we have the base of our card. How easy was that? So now the next thing we need to do is go ahead and cut some mats. So I'm going to lay this to the side. And I have 2 pieces of white scrap. We're going to use this one to cut our center mechanism, which is this piece right here. See the piece that folds like that? And how you're going to make that is so simple. We're going to bring in our scoreboard again, or our trimmer, and I'm going to use the scoring mechanism. We're going to line this up halfway. So it is 7 inches, so 3.5 is half of 7, and we're going to give that a score. Bring it out, fold it down. You may even want to take your bone folder and give that a good crease. Now we're going to grab our stylish shape dies and take out your largest circle die. And you want to lay this down onto your cardstock, but you don't want it to cut that top folded edge. So where your fold's at, which is right here, lay this down where it's right at the top of that line so it doesn't cut through. And it will leave you a little bit of a fold right there. And let me show you what I'm talking about. We're going to go ahead and tape this down because we don't want this to move. We're probably going to run it through twice since we think this will go through like this one. Let's see if it will. Maybe it will. Let's try it on the little one. Okay, I'm going to load my plates in like this. Right, I'm going to run it back. Remember, you're cutting through double cardstock. So let's see if our little machine did the trick. So pull that tape off like that. And then pop this out. And it did. And look what we have. When you open this up, and it might take a little bit of doings to get that open. But now you have that piece that will lift up. You're probably saying, well, how do we get that, the shape so that it bends? Very simple. Let me cut another circle out of the white. Now this one needs to be a complete circle. like that, because we're going to need something that's going to sit on top of that. Because what we're going to do, we're going to bring in our trimmer. Again, we're going to open this up so the front piece is to your right. Your fold will be in the middle. And we want to score this right in the middle. So I know this is like 3.5. So I'm going to come down to about 1.5, something like that. About 1.5, not quite, almost to the end of your trimmer. And I am going to score this straight across, just like that. Then we're going to fold this, and this is going to sit like that. Now we need another piece of our balmy blue. Did I bring over a piece of balmy blue? I thought I did, but I'm not seeing it. Okay, I'm going to lay all my pieces right over here. And we're going to need this die again. All right, we have a piece here, and I am going to cut off about 3.5 inches. I'm going to turn it and do about 3.5 inches this way. That way, I know that I can get my circle cut on that piece. And we can go ahead and cut this circle. So let's bring our little machine back up. And I'm going to lay this in. And then I'm going to lay that in. I'm going to scatter my plate so that the one on top goes in first. And then we're going to cut. And now we have our other piece that's going to go. What you can do is put the blue on the white like this. And I should have cut this one smaller. So let's do that. Let's just take this and lay it on top of that one. This is going to give us a frame, but I'm not going to use a frame. But it's a white frame, so I'll keep it because I might be able to use it on another card. So let's go ahead and cut that through. That'll give us that small circle we need to go. I think we can put this down for right now. There is our piece that can go on here. Now this is where you want to do any of your stamping for a sentiment or whatever. But see how that's going to sit on top of this piece? And when you lift it up, it's going to be an easel card like that. So that's what gives us that mechanism on the inside. Easy peasy. And see, I got this beautiful frame that I can keep for another time. So I'm going to lay my dies over here. And my plate's out of the way. Now we need to bring the Night of Navy. And I haven't decided if I want to use this paper or if I want to go back and use this paper. But I need to decide. I am thinking I'm going to use this. I had some scraps from the last sheet that, because this is beautiful, we can cut this one in half and it'd be beautiful for our topper. This one, I think, will be pretty on the bottom. So let's see, we might not need this piece. So what I want to do next is I want to cut a mat from this navy or the night of navy. And in order to cut for my angle pieces, I know that my pieces are 4 by 4. So I want to go down 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to do 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, that's one piece. And then 3 3/4. So I can get both of them out of this one piece. Now looking at our card, and it's always a good idea to look, and you can always go to the video to recheck this. I need one piece that's going to be cut from the top to the bottom, from the top to the bottom right. So let's put that one in. Put the top point into your track and the bottom point into your track. Hold them very still. Bring your blade, and I like to sink my blade in the middle and cut up and down. Now that's going to give us the pieces that go here and here. So we got that much going. Now we need to take that other piece. And now this piece needs to be cut from the top to the bottom in this direction. So put it in. Get your points lined up in the track. Sink the blade in the middle, up and then down. And now we have the other two pieces. So we have all of those mats are cut. Then we need to look at this, and this needs to be 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. So 3 1/2. Let's see, maybe cut off this side. Three and a half. Right. 3 1/2. And now this one is going to be for this side. So we need to cut it like this. So from the top right to the bottom left. Line it into the trimmer, sink your blade in the middle, up and down, and now these pieces are cut. Then we need to do the same thing for the other side. Now I think I'm going to go ahead with this. This one I want to cut at 3 3/4. This is the piece I want to put down in the bottom. So 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So this is going to be our bottom piece. And I am going to need to cut off of this piece 3 3/4. No, 3 1/2. Sorry, 3 1/2. By 3 1/2. And now this piece needs to be cut from here to here. So let's put this into our track. sink our blade, and cut. So now that we have all of our pieces, let's move our trimmer and let's bring our card back over. We've got our mechanism, our little piece to stamp on, and we have all of our corner pieces. So what we want to do first is let's concentrate on getting these where they need to be. So there is a square. And here is a square. So those are going to get glued down on there just like that. And then we have the piece that's going to go on the bottom. And then I have my other two pieces. And these are going to go like this. Put this one here. And this one here. It's going to be gorgeous. I think I'm going to really love this one. All right, let's go ahead and start getting our pieces glued together. So what I want to do first is glue these together. So here we go. All right, those are all glued and ready to go onto our card. So let's go ahead and get these positioned in. Now these two go on this side. So it's just a simple case of gluing these down like that. All right, those are on. So now we need to put this piece on, but I really want something under it that's going to make it pop. So I'm thinking I'm going to go in with a piece of native navy. So we'll probably need to cut this down. This is 3 3/4. I might trim a ½ inch off of this. Not a ½ inch, a 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, we're going to take a 1/4 inch. So this would be 3 1/2, 3 1/2. And I need a piece of native navy. So I'm going to grab this, and this needs to be 3 3/4. 3 3/4. Then this gives us a beautiful backdrop for this piece. So that's going to go something like that. Now we have to think about our magnet. So for our magnet, I want a magnet to go under here. And for this, you need a plus and a minus. So they have little labels on them like this. And I have these linked on my Amazon store if you're interested in getting some. So a plus and a minus. And what this will allow you to do is to put these together, and you'll be able to put it down exactly where you want it. So I want one to go right here. And that's where I made that score line that wasn't supposed to be there. So I'm going to put this one, pull the backer off of it. They already have adhesive on them, so it makes it real easy. I want to come up to about here. And I want to put that magnet down right there. And I'm going to take the top one off. You might want to take your bone folder and just rub that so that make sure that it adheres. Now what we want to do is put that one just like that. And then what we're going to do is take the adhesive off of it. And when we put glue on our paper and stick this in, our magnet will be hidden. So let's go ahead and put some glue on the back of this. And then, like I said, when this goes in like that, everything is going to get covered up. I think I want it like that. So I'm going to put glue on the back of this. I'm going to open this up. Oops. Well, you know what? That doesn't work. Because when you open it, you lose where your magnet goes. Okay, so let's leave it like that. And slide this in. Just like that. Isn't that pretty? Give that some time to adhere. And everything should work perfectly. Just like that. So now what we're left to do is to get our mechanism in, but we need to do a little bit of stamping. So let's bring over our little mechanism. And like I said, this is going to go on here like that. And then this is going to go like this, which is going to give you the idea of a frame. But we're only going to glue the blue piece to the bottom portion up to where you scored that half circle. So it is going to look something like this. Put glue on here. Take your blue piece, because we're not going to stamp on it. Line it up. Just like that. Making sure that that is closed in the back so that you don't get any adhesive anywhere but where you want it. Now this piece will sit up like that or fold down like that. So that's done. Now we need to stamp something beautiful here. Let me grab a stamp set and I'll be right back. Okay, I pulled the stamp set called Reindeer Fun. I love the sentiment that says Christmas is better together. Y'all know I've used that several times. I love it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to stamp it in boho blue. I'm kind of torn whether I want to do it in Night of Navy. I think I do. I'm going to do it in Night of Navy. Y'all know I always change my mind. So I'm going to stamp that in Night of Navy because I think it will pop. That is so pretty. And I'm not sure that I don't want to maybe cut some snowflakes from the frozen edges. These little snowflakes are so cute. And I think I'm going to cut all 3 of these. And let's just cut those in boho blue. I'm just going to run those over here through my electronic machine since it's right here. I have a little strip of boho blue that will work perfectly for this. So let's run those 3 right here. We're probably going to need our take your pick tool just to poke these out with. Maybe we want a couple of these right here. I think I'm going to wait on those 2. I want to get this centered on here first. Something like, you want to make sure that you're looking at the top of where your fold is when you glue this down. See where my fold is right there? So that way when you sit it down, you need to make sure that it's nice and straight. So I'm going to put glue on the back of this, and I'm going to leave it stood up so that I can feel and see where that fold is at. So I know it's like that, and this piece needs to go just like this. Once you're satisfied with it, give it a good press. And now that is ready to go down just like that. So now we need to decide if we want to put these on here. And I think I do. I want one here. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue. And I'm going to stick one right there. And I think I want this one right about there. And now we need to decide what we want to put down here. Christmas is better together. And would love the Merry Christmas. Let's see if we can maneuver this. Let's show y'all a trick, hopefully. Let's grab a small stamp block. This way, if you just want one word, see how I put that down with just the Mary showing? And I'm going to wrap the rest of it around the block like that. And look, I'm going to do a little test run with it before I actually do it. So I'm going to bring over just a scrap. I'm going to try it in my navy, night of navy. So if it doesn't want to stay, just keep your finger on it. Didn't quite get the why. You always want to do a test run when you do these. Let's try a bigger block. Go up one size. I think that will work. Let's wipe the block off. Got a little excess ink on it. So I'm going to try it. Mary. Very good. Oh, I love it. All right, so I'm going to put that back down on there so I can clean it. And I'm going to bring over my Stampin' Scrub. I'm going to activate my cleaner with just a little squirt of water. Clean that off. And now we're going to do the same thing with Christmas. And I'm going to do a trial run with it as well. Christmas worked really good. And I'm going to put Christmas right here. I'm going to get this over under me so I make sure that I don't make a mistake. So forgive me. I want to make sure that I'm getting it nice and straight. So if my head's in the camera, I apologize. Oh, love it. It worked out beautifully. So now, so I don't get ink on anything, let's close the ink pad. And let's bring over my stamp cleaner, my Stampin' Scrub. I love this thing. If you don't have one, everyone should invest in one of these. It will last you a lifetime and you will go to it over and over and over. All right. So there was a little trick showing you how you can maneuver your stamps without cutting them. I know sometimes people say, well, just cut them. I don't like to cut my stamps. The reason for that, y'all know I resell, and I don't want to sell stamps that have been torn, if that makes any sense. I'm going to take this one back off of that snowflake. I want the snowflake built up a little bit, so I am going to cut a couple of these out using white. I want a thick piece of white. I think that would be good. And what I want to do is I want to build these up on top of each other just to give this a little more stability. So what I'm going to do, make sure my right sides are up. I'm going to put glue on the back. Just like that. And then I want to glue it directly on top. And then I'll put this one. And they don't have to be perfect. It's okay if some of the white shows, because once you put it on here, you're really not going to see it. But this is going to be our stopper that's going to stop this from moving. So again, let's grab a mini glue dot. That right in the middle. I'm going to reinforce this with a little bit of liquid glue. And I'm going to put it right there. And then that will stop and sit up just like that. So pretty. Now to put this into our card, all we have to do is put glue on the bottom of this piece. That's the back side of your whole mechanism. So when you close it down like that, just flip it over and take liquid glue. And then, making sure that we've got it nice and straight, you're going to lay it up in here, like so. Give it a press. And this is going to sit up just like that in your card. When it's down, it sits, and when I turn it over, it wants to flop up. But now, if you want to, you can cut some more of the snowflakes and decorate through here, which I think would be gorgeous. I had cut a piece of the icicles, and I was thinking about putting icicles on it, but I didn't like the way it looked. I thought it kind of made it a little tacky looking, but that would be another option if you wanted to. I like the simplicity of the snowflakes. So let me grab the 3 snowflakes out again. And my boho blue. And I am going to cut this out again, all 3 of them. And a lot of you might say that this card is way too much work, but I'm telling you, you could send this card to everybody on your Christmas list, and it would not be hard to do, because all you would have to do is just sit down and cut all of your 8 by 8, come back and score them all, cut all of your mats, stack everything up, and your circles the same way, cut all your circles. You'd have like a day of cutting and then a day of assembling, and you'd have all of your Christmas cards done. I think they're beautiful. I love the way they turned out, and I'm not too sure I'm not going to use this for my Christmas card this year. I think they're gorgeous, and who wouldn't love to get a Christmas card like that? I'll move my plates out of the way, get my little pieces that came out of my dies. Okay, get that Take your pick tool again because this comes in very handy. Another tool that I cannot craft without. I find myself gravitating to this every time I craft for one reason or another. And I keep saying I'm going to do a tutorial on just the take your pick tool. I think a lot of you would be very impressed to see everything that this tool does. There we go. All right, so I've got all of those cut. The dies over here so I don't lose them. And all you want to do now is just pick out your 3. And I'm going to scatter. I'm going to open my card. And I'm going to scatter some of these every here and there. So I'm going to put some glue right here. And stick that one down. And maybe a little bit right here. And stick that down. And maybe right here. We're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to go maybe right about here. Something like that. Of course, I've got glue on my fingers, so I'm going to grab one of my little alcohol wipes and wipe my fingers off. If you don't like this magnet showing under this underside, you could very easily cut a snowflake or a little round piece of cardstock, just punch a little punch or something and cover that up. But it doesn't bother me. I love the way this card turned out. I think it's gorgeous. I love the snowflakes in the paper. I love matting the dark with the light and the boho blue. I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial and let me know in the comments if this is a card that you would make. This is a more simple version and this one's jazzed up a bit. Both of them are beautiful in their own right. And it just goes to show that you can do a little or a lot. And like I said, when you get ready to mail it, all you have to do is fold everything down, fold it together, fold it like that, pop that in an envelope. And who would ever think when they open it, they would be like, wow, wow, oh goodness, look at that. I love it. I hope you do. God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring honor and glory to our Savior Jesus. He is worthy. So until next time, know that you are loved. Be blessed. Bye.